Well, y'all better hang on to your hats for this one. I'm trying to keep it together, man. Monsters Inc. It's a cartoon. So, most of the videos that I think about doing, I don't really think much about doing them. Just whatever hits me, and I got my phone, and there you go. But in order to do this one right, I needed to do it here. So right over there is what's left of my dad. So you may wonder why we're doing a video here. Well, if you look at the logo for the Roadmap Company, and the O is actually a quarter with a hole through it. Some of you know the story, some of you don't. I think I've told it once or twice, written about it once or twice, but I'm gonna document it here today. So I'm here on the family farm, and the shot quarter thing started right here on this dirt. And I did it for that man right there. So let me tell you the story, and then we try to piece it together. And I need to get my butt over there on the backside of that pond dam. I'm gonna bow hunt. And I got all these clothes on, and I'm already cold. And I got more clothes laying over there on the ground with my bow. Anyway, it's cold here. So, Dad died in 2011. You can't really see it on the tag there. So that was 13 years ago if I do the math. And he was sick 13 some odd years before that. 2 rounds of cancer. Ultimately, he died from cancer-related issues, but not from cancer, in my opinion. He was on hospice twice. The last round of hospice was pretty ugly. The first round, he graduated and got a t-shirt. And not many folks get to graduate from hospice. So, shortly after that first round of cancer, I don't really remember when, he ended up losing the second round of cancer. He actually lost use of his legs. And I don't remember the exact sequence of events. I just remember he was in a bad way. So we got out here in the field. So the house is straight that way. The barn's right there. We got there in the back field, and I took a rifle called a 17 center fire, not a rim fire, but a center fire. So for the gun people that are watching this video, you know what I'm talking about. It's not a very common round. Still got the rifle, and I put a quarter out at 100 yards, and I zipped a hole through it. And I put it on a necklace for Dad, and he put a bunch of religious medals on it. And he wore that around his neck. When he got the second round of cancer, and then that racked on for several years, and ultimately ended up with that going on hospice a second time. He wasn't going to walk away that time. He wore it around his neck, and it started to kind of eat away at him, I guess with all the dope junk in his body. And he hung it on that triangle thing. So when he died, that was what I wanted, was that shot quarter and a couple of religious medals that he had. Made him a homemade necklace out of. So I got it here in this little bag. So that's the original shot quarter right there. I'm not sure what gave me the idea to do that, but ultimately I ended up thinking that was a good idea. And I remember when I first got into peer support, which for some of you may not know what that means. That just means some knucklehead like me that's got a little bit of training and comes in when crap goes to hell, and you try to do what you can. That's pretty much the Cliff Notes version of that. First time I went to a major event where a bunch of folks got jacked up, you know, I didn't know what to do. I was like, man, what do you say to somebody when their asses got handed to them, you know? There ain't nothing you can say to make them feel better. I got enough sense for that. So I went to the farm, and I shot me a bunch of quarters and some Marine Corps keychains, and I went to that place, and I met some amazing people. And the only thing that I figured I could do was give them a piece of me. So I gave them a shot quarter, shot Marie Coin keychain, and I told them the story. Oddly enough, it seemed to work. That seemed to work for those people, and kind of became my thing. So throughout the U.S., I'm not sure if it's ever made it overseas. Maybe it hasn't, I don't know. I've given away a few shot quarters and keychains, and I tell them the story. That's pretty much it, you know? If you're going to do the work, you got to put your heart into it. The emotions here, ain't bad emotions. I mean, maybe some of the experts got a shingle hanging outside their door. I'd say it's bad. I don't think it's bad. It don't keep me awake at night. I just look over there. I can remember that day. I can see it right now. I really can. I didn't know what else to do for him. He never really taught me how to shoot. I'm not sure anybody ever taught me how to shoot. And why in the hell I thought me shooting a hole through a quarter would mean so much to one man. But it did. And when he died, I didn't want nothing else but that. I wanted that quarter. So since then, in my travels, I've met a lot of folks. People have added on to it, as you can see. There's all kinds of crap on here. I've added a few things. That's the rabies tag for my last dog. Dog tags, crosses, religious medals, piece of an airplane, a dime. That's a long story. And this big ass cross from my Aunt Kathy. She ain't my aunt, she's my wife's aunt, but I wish she was my aunt. People have held this, kids have held it, strangers have held it. I've sat on airplanes, some lady over there swallowing her damn tongue, and I'll slap it in her hand and tell her, hey, it's got good juice. And people have added to it. I very seldom ask anybody to add to it. I just don't think that's right. Kind of like me giving away quarters. You can't ask me for a quarter, but I might give you one. That's the short story. This is the first take of this video, and it probably will be the final take, because I don't know if I want to do it again. And I'm freezing. So I hope that explains the Roadmap Company. I think everybody needs a roadmap about where the hell they're going, even after a traumatic event, and that's how we came up with the title, and then we shoved it, you know, the letter O in there with a quarter through it. It's become something special. I still got the rifle, like I said. I tried to shoot a quarter right after Dad died, right out here in this field. Couldn't hit a broadside of a barn. A year later, I was back on it. And I stay on it. So, that's the story of the shot quarter. I could give you a view, but this is probably a good enough view right here. Not of me, but of the old man and his monument and his time here. So, what am I today? Clearly a guy freezing his ass off. And I'm a guy spending a few minutes with his dad. I don't need to come here to see Dad. He's with me all the time. Everywhere I go, I can feel him. And I got enough sense that I talk to him, ask him when I'm screwing up, what should I do better. And my daddy was a simple man. Life ain't fair, son. Pay attention what I'm fixing to show you, because I ain't always going to be here. And right over there in that barn, when I got my first big chance to spread my wings, I told him I had a job offer. Probably one of the hardest things he's ever said to me. I didn't realize it at the time. He said, son, the nest ain't meant to stay in. At the time, I thought it was kind of cold. I get where he was coming from. So in order for me to make them wings I needed, I had to get the HELL out of here. We're going long on the video, folks, and I apologize. But it's not every day you get to hear about somebody shooting a hole through a quarter at 100 yards. I've gone out as far as 300 yards shooting holes through quarters, but I got to sharpen my skills up. I'm back down at 100 now. That being said, y'all have a good day. I clearly hope you enjoyed the video. And one day if we meet up and it seems like the right thing to do, I'll give you a whole shot quarter.